Oh my God, Alek Thomas, are you fucking kidding me? Let's go! The Diamondbacks are a wagon. Ski to you all, and of course, this is the motherfucking Yops. Oh my God, what a win tonight!
Wow.
Hold on, I got money. I got lots of money. We got money for tonight. I got ones. I stopped at the ATM here. We'll just start putting them in. Here's a 5 for now. I'll get you the fucking rest later.
The swear jar is going to be crazy.
Oh, it's going to be full tonight because the Arizona Diamondbacks are a motherfucking wagon, and this team continues to roll, winning an improbable game tonight when Torey Lovullo, that absolute madman, decides to go with a bullpen start in Game 4 of the National League Championship Series.
Wow.
And here we sit, even with the Philadelphia Phillies, 2 games apiece. I swear to God, you Phillies fans better be here tonight. Don't not show up. Don't not show up. All right, I got a lot of that out of my system, of course. I'll save those for later, but I am, of course, your mayor of the postseason. My name is Derek Montilla, and this man next to me, he is the hot tag, but not tonight. I am the hot tag tonight, but this man continues to be the hot tag for me, and I'm so appreciative he's here to cover this NLCS with me. It's one and only Patrick Lyons from DNVR. Thank you for being here and putting up with me in Jesse's absence and
my
everybody's
pleasure.
absence.
This has been enjoyable being a part of something as wild as this has been. NLCS, having a little skin in the game, and seeing you enjoy yourself tonight.
I have been enjoying myself, Damon. We definitely enjoyed ourselves tonight because
Derek, I got one thing for you.
What do you got?
Do not dare let us get 3.
They fucking let us get 2, Damon.
Do not dare let us get 3.
God help you if you let us get 3. God help you. The Arizona Diamondbacks find a way tonight to come back after they had a victory. They battled back in this one, winning the game 6-5. A game that honestly seemed like it was out of reach. Diamondbacks at one point were down 5-2. Their offense continued to pick away. And then they have a huge pinch hit home run by Alek Thomas, his 3rd home run of the series. And we are all witnesses, Damon. Put the goddamn graphic up because we are all witnesses to this man's greatness.
Beautiful.
Oh, my God. Our young king comes through when at times it seemed like nobody on the offense could get the big hit, puts the crooked numbers up on the board, allows the Diamondbacks to tie the game. Gabriel Moreno comes through with the game-winning hit in the same inning.
Yes.
Big hit, and the Diamondbacks sit here now 2 games apiece with the Phillies, and they have successfully defended Chase Field. When I say that, I mean the Phillies cannot clinch here. There will be no pissing in our pool. There will be no pool party for you, no matter how this series works itself out. But we're not going in that direction. We are going in the direction that the Diamondbacks have one more game at home. Game 5 at home with Zach Gallen, who you know how good he's been on the mound for this team. But tonight, they didn't have Zach Gallen. They didn't have Merrill Kelly. They didn't have anybody as far as their starting pitchers were concerned. But what they had was their bullpen. And this bullpen that we absolutely have torched at times this season, this bullpen that has basically mutated and become something completely new and something wonderful. This game was in their hands. It had its ups, it had its downs, but I mean, somehow they were able to keep this game within reach, and the Diamondbacks offense showed up in a way they have not so far in this series, and then win this game.
There are numerous comebacks by the Diamondbacks. The game started, and it was already, the Diamondbacks are behind in this game because they've got a bullpen game. It was all about the bullpen and their plan, the bull plan, as we kind of phrased it.
The bull plan?
At one point.
That was our short title at one point. I think it was a good one, but of course, how could we not go with Answerbacks after what they did?
So even when it was 0-0, you go, how are they going to get these 27 outs? And we'll break down how they did it. They get up early, 2-0. after the third inning. And then they give up that lead, and slowly but surely they chip away, and maybe some questionable decisions by Torey Lovullo. We'll get into that over the course of the next hour plus. And then they officially,
this guy knows me now.
Officially answer back and win this ball game 6-5 when it just seemed like a foregone conclusion that it wouldn't happen. Here we go.
He wasn't in the spot the whole time. He was not even here, and that's why they won.
Wow.
Let's go. We are dangerous, baby. Yeah, let's go. I can't get enough of this. Send everybody through here. Yeah. That's for sure. But my God.
Wow.
What a night for the bullpen. And they talked about on the broadcast, if this game were to get tied up, if this game were to go long, that, you know, the Diamondbacks would be in a rough position. But it seemed like, in all actuality, the Phillies were in just the same position because this had the makings of a bullpen start for them as well.
It did. It absolutely did, because Christopher Sanchez, while the numbers were really good for him, we talked about it in the pregame, and I'm like, this guy could really go up and post, kind of like Ranger Suarez was able to do in Game 3 before the bullpen comes in. And he only ended up getting, 4 more outs than Joe Mantiply ended up getting. Yeah. And Thompson turns it over to his bullpen, makes a couple questionable decisions. Why is this guy even in the game?
Why is Craig Kimbrel in the game?
Why is Craig Kimbrel staying out there? And again, you have to put away this Diamondbacks team. You have to separate the head from the body. You have to cut the Diamondbacks heads off in order to really make sure that you've killed this beast. Because if you don't, they will answer back.
We got some super chats from all of you. Appreciate the love. Piece of Yoshi says, Alek closed the pool by hitting in the pool. Hell yeah, he did. You know what we need? We need some Chase Field lifeguard shirts, or
lifeguard
maybe Chase
security
Field,
guard.
slash security guard, right? Benjamin Jimenez, thank you. He says, anyone, anytime. I remember that old catchphrase. Wait until Corbin wakes the fuck up. Yes, absolutely. And Christian Walker too. Frank, thank you for your super chat. He says, hello, nice game ending from a bandwagon Arizona fan. Frank, baby, there's plenty of room on the wagon. This wagon is made for you and me, and it is made for us all to be on. Max Simpson, who just ran through our set like a goddamn madman, said, I will stand in the spot which is right on top of Phillies fans' heart so freaking hard. That is a spot, Max, that you are allowed to stand on. And we'll get to some more of those super chats here in a moment.
The heart spot is where Max shall stand.
Just right on your chest.
Wow.
Joe Mantiply got the start. He did exactly what we thought he would do, right? We went out there. He got his 1 inning of work. He gave up 1 hit, struck out 1, stayed in there for the 4 batters that he faced.
And picked off Turner as well.
Picked off Turner as well. That's true. He didn't. He only faced 3 batters. But here's the thing about we just talked beforehand. Like, would there be somebody warming up? There absolutely was.
You did nail that one.
Luis Frias was already good. I've never seen somebody warm up at the start of a baseball game, but here we were with this wild bullpen start. They talked on the broadcast about Rob Thompson hating bullpen starts. He hated using them, and he hated facing them. So I wonder if, as much as we think this master plan for Torey to use a bullpen start is some sort of crazy idea, might have been concocted a bit more in the fact that his opposing manager doesn't like it, right? So it's like the reason why he doesn't like it is due to the inconsistency, especially when you have a team that's as offensively potent as the Phillies are, who can really dial in on a starting pitcher, and like we've talked about, that 3rd time through the rotation, maybe even that 2nd time through the rotation, already have them kind of figured out.
Yeah, there's not a ton of familiarity between Phillies hitters and Diamondbacks pitchers. So seeing a guy even just that 2nd time is great, or a 2nd inning. And look, remember last postseason where Bryce Harper was going and whispering in the ears of his teammates saying, hey, here's what I saw. Yeah. Here's what you can take advantage of. Here's what you can exploit.
They were doing that in the dugout in this game.
And they were only able to do it for so long because as soon as maybe you figured something out against a Diamondbacks pitcher, and sure, they did give up 5 runs today. It could have been a lot more if it wasn't for the fact that Torey Lovullo did have so many guys to then go to, mix it up, and feel like you had a little bit of trust with. And that definitely paid off for the Diamondbacks tonight.
Somebody asked in the chat, I think it was Nathan, said, where's Jesse? We need to keep cooking. Jesse is at Chase Field right now. He'll be joining us in our final segment with all sorts of updates from both Torey's press conference after the game as well as the clubhouse. But back to this bullpen, so many guys that deserve credit. Obviously, things didn't work out great, right? Kyle Nelson, there was a couple of points where if you wanted to really pick at Torey's managing or mismanagement of this game, it had to do with, at times, not having that quicker hook that we've seen him have. honestly, it's been effective. So I don't know why he would go away from it. Like so far in the postseason, if someone struggled, once he has a chance to get them out, he does. There was a situation where Kyle Nelson got out of, I think, the third inning after 2/3 innings pitched. Seemed like a good time to move on and get to that next, arm in the pen. But with a game like this, I can understand some hesitancy when he wasn't really struggling. But then Kyle Nelson gives up that home run to Kyle Schwarber in the fourth.
Yeah.
And then immediately it looks not so good, right? So it's like, I know hindsight is 20/20, but you kind of have to balance trying to get the length out of your guys while at the same time sticking to a plan that seemed like Torey was going to try to go almost inning by inning and just kind of let one guy get one inning as they maneuvered through the game, which is a game plan we thought we might see out of him.
And we've been seeing somebody new step up each and every game. And on offense, we're starting to cycle through the second time through for these guys. Cattell has done it many times. Moreno, Alek Thomas with the pinch hit. But on the pitching side, who would have thought that Luis Frias would come out of the pen and get 4 outs? Four.
And two
outs.
Ks and just look absolutely outstanding. I mean, again, these guys, Brandon Pfaadt, obviously we know about what he did in game 3. Game 4, Luis Frias, like you said, man, I mean, these guys are the future of this team. He's a big part of this bullpen going forward, and it's great to see. Andrew Saalfrank, unfortunately, has not had a great postseason, did not have a good night tonight, was probably the weak spot for this team. He loaded the bases before finally being pulled by Torey, which again seemed like it was far too late at that point. He had a chance to pull him a little bit earlier than that.
Right.
Chose not to.
It was the spot in which he walks Schwarber, and you go, okay, that was his third batter. That was to start off, I want to say, was that the 6th inning?
Yeah.
That was the 6th inning, and that was his third batter. So you could have lifted him and said, well, you might want Saalfrank against Harper, the left on left. But with Trey Turner coming up, you go, if you bring in Thompson at that point, then at least you're able to get Turner, and then you possibly can minimize the damage with Harper. And Saalfrank ends up walking both of those guys, and that ended up being critical. Thompson enters the game, gets the ground ball to Rivera, and that right there was kind of the pivotal point in the game. And you go, man, in this chess match, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, especially with the way obviously yesterday's game went and how this offense has gone so far in the series. They the game was tied at that point. They go down two runs, which so far kind of seemed insurmountable because the Diamondbacks have not been able to put up this many runs so
They hadn't been able to hit a home run. Remember, the previous game that they'd hit a home run was game 1 in the 6th inning by Geraldo Perdomo against Zach Wheeler. So they had actually gone 28 consecutive innings without a home run before that Alek Thomas homer. And think about it.
Oh, wow. 28.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, my math is right. You had that look on your face, right?
I
2 9-inning games,
fucking
18.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely a
that
lot.
Was an unnecessary
put that
one.
in the swear jar. But yeah, and even still, that home run by Perdomo barely got out, right? It was 345 feet, had an expected batting average of 140. It was a homer in Citizens Bank Park. It would not have been a home run at Chase Field. And you had 2 balls today, one by Trey Turner. And then there was somebody else, Real Muto, who hit one today that was an out at Chase, but it would have actually been a homer at Citizens Bank Park. So the power source was just not really there. So you're right. When they're down 4-2 in that spot, it wasn't looking good.
Ryan Thompson is a dog. Ryan Thompson is a motherfucking dog. I'm going to put another dollar in there for that. But man, this guy had, of course, the most innings pitched tonight for this team. And again, like 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. You put him in a terrible situation, right? You put him in bases loaded, and I think it was no outs, right? Bases loaded, no outs.
Correct.
And I mean, again, what did you expect? 2 runs score on that play. That was kind of a blown play by Rivera. He really should have just stepped on the bag.
So could he have gotten to third? Remember, his momentum was taking him in foul territory. Yes. It would have been close. It would have been, I think it may have been close. He had no play at first base. We know that, right? Throwing across the diamond.
Plant your foot,
no play at
back.
second.
I mean, yeah. Also, I think we talked about this, that he definitely, I agree that he definitely could have maybe taken a little bit more time on that throw, considering it was Schwarber coming home.
Damon pointed that out. Hey, you could have steadied your feet a little bit, maybe had a better throw, and I think that was the case. Moreno, kept the ball in front of him, but it skirted away not that far. Turner was he didn't slow down one bit. kudos to Trey Turner. That was really good base running to get a second run on a play that you go, hey, they might get an out at the plate.
Yeah.
It was the opposite. They got 2 runs on a what could have maybe been a 5-3 in any other game.
Yeah. I mean, you just can't say enough, though, again, about Ryan Thompson, Kevin Ginkel, and Paul Sewald.
4 innings. 4 innings from those 3 guys.
And those guys combined for 4 total hits, and 2 of those are Ryan Thompson's. And, of course, the runs on Thompson, the 1 run. Ginkel, flawless. Again, just the 1 hit. Sewald gives up the 1 hit. And somebody said it earlier in the chat when we started this show, but God damn it, stand up and applaud for Mike Hazen bringing Paul Sewald in and for Paul Sewald being to this team what he has been. We suffered through some terrible times watching almost every member of this bullpen try to close games out, and it seemed like none of them were capable of it. So for the fact that we got Sewald and he has been able to consistently do what he has done at the back end of these games, along with Kevin Ginkel, who's an absolute gem and just gets me fired up every time he's out there. I mean, that's why the Diamondbacks are winning games. The ability for them to have guys that could come in high leverage, late inning situations and close the game out is a complete turnaround from how bad they were at that early on in the season. What a roller coaster ride that has been, not just early on this season, historically in this franchise's history. They've never had quality relief pitching the way they have it right now.
You throw shade at Jose Valverde?
I am absolutely throwing shade at Jose Valverde.
I mean, Paul Sewald shouldn't be called the closer.
Fernando Rodney pitched for the Dominican League today or yesterday.
He did, 46 years old.
Let's go.
Sewald shouldn't be called the closer. He should be called the savior, because when he left the Seattle Mariners,
did you hear what he just said?
He left the Mariners,
Not
and the
closer,
Mariners.
He's the savior.
It tanked the Mariners season, right?
I can't come up with anything better than
and
that. I'm leaving the set. Go ahead, you do the show by yourself.
All right, Yoshi.
You called him the savior.
Is that not insane, Patrick? Chafin, Castro, McGuff was the core of your bullpen.
And that was it.
Look at us.
That's who you had.
Look at us.
Look at us.
A big difference.
Who would have thought?
That acquisition was great. I thought at the
Absolutely
time,
not me.
I kind of thought at the time in a way that the Diamondbacks gave up too much. Now, it was more of the quantity than the quality, but I thought they'd given up a lot, and those guys contributed to Seattle. But, I mean, props to Mike Hazen, because he realized if we can steady the 9th, we've got Ginkel who can steady the 8th. Maybe we can find somebody in the 7th. And Ryan Thompson fell from the heavens right into their lap.
Literally fell from the heavens.
And everything else really seemed to have settled, right?
No, like he actually might have fallen
He
from
might
heaven.
be an angel.
That's why he throws the way he does. When he fell from the heavens, he landed a little funky on his shoulder. And so that's why he is the way he is.
Nick's asking the important questions. Do you think you could beat the Astros if you get there? Yeah, let's go ahead and ask that question. I don't care. Do we think we could beat the Astros? We can beat anybody.
You hear that, PHNX
We can
Phillies?
beat anybody because a connected team is a fucking dangerous team. My God, the offense is back too, and now that's dangerous. You want to talk about danger? The offense being back, because if this team can somehow get their shit together at the plate, this team is going to be a beast going forward. Obviously, they took the early lead early on. The single from Daniel Rivera, who definitely didn't deserve that nickname in this game with some of his defensive plays, but he did get things started early with an RBI single in the second inning. RBI single from Gabriel Moreno. Moreno was all over this game as well, including having the game-winning hit. Ketel Marte extended his postseason hitting streak to 13 games, and he just continues to be a beast out there.
Wow.
He was a part of all of this. Marte scored, let's see, I'm sorry, I don't have it available.
Two runs, 2 hits,
2 runs, 2 hits, 2 for 4. But Alek Thomas,
wow,
not even in the lineup tonight.
Not
even in the lineup tonight.
No,
not even in the lineup tonight.
And to go, and to even go back before him just a little bit. You got a nice pinch hit single from P.F. Smith, Pavin F. Smith. That's as close as I'm going to come
on his name. Put some respect on his name.
He's been doing some stuff, and that paved the way. Alek Thomas said, "Okay, Pavin, you want to go out there and continue to have these pinch hit singles? Hold my beer.
Yeah,
hold my 4 peaks.
Yeah." Yeah. You know what? Someone said Jesus is savior. I'm not going to argue with that, but Jesus never closed a baseball game out for this team. So
has he ever gotten 3 outs in October? I don't know.
Has he ever pitched in a high leverage situation? I'm just saying. My God. Ketel Marte. I send him up the mountain. Send him up the goddamn mountain. Let's go. Racking up those postseason wins on the top, on the way to the mountaintop, which is the World Series.
Wow.
But he is not our King Snake this time, because it is the man we were just talking about, Alek Thomas.
Yes.
That game-tying home run in the 8th.
Wow.
He didn't even start the game. Third home run of the postseason, and of course, we are all witnesses. We are absolutely all witnesses to his greatness. I don't care if this man can't hit left-handed pitching. Start him every single game. Play him every single game. Stop this foolishness of keeping him out of the starting lineup. I don't care. Keep this man at the plate as much as possible, because right now he's better offensively than a lot of options that you have. But like we said, Gabriel Moreno with that game-winning hit in the inning, and man, what a win. What a win for this team. Yeah,
everyone contributed. Everyone did their thing. And again, that's really been the theme of this entire team this postseason. We know what the Phillies have been about. A lot of it has been home runs from the same guys. You know, I think plenty of the folks on the roster can get it done, but they're not used to it. They've gone really quiet in a lot of big spots, whereas the Diamondbacks guys, look, I think we talked about it during that inning. They continue to pass the baton. The Diamondbacks guys say, okay, like when Christian Walker, right before or right after the Gabby Moreno big go ahead, it was Walker's like, okay, well, I'll just take the walk and give it to the next guy. So, man, they've been just really impressive, and I can't wait to talk to Jesse, who we may need to refer to now as Philadelphia Friedman, because he's going to Philadelphia now. He's going back.
Yeah, we're so excited to start.
That Greyhound bus ride is going to be long, but he'll get there in time.
It's fine.
He'll get there in time.
I can see Jesse dragging himself through the front door with his bag right now, being like, hey, guys, no. But you got to get back on the bus and get back up there, because we are sending your ass back to Philadelphia. Some of our super chats, thank you guys again so much for that. You guys are wonderful. Mr. Grimm says, donating to the jar so you guys can let loose. God bless you. I appreciate that.
That's huge.
Let's go, Vince. He says, let's fucking go. It's the Yoffs, baby. It is the Yoffs. What is this team in the Yoffs?
Vince makes a great point.
Oh, my God. That's a great point.
After that super chat, you're back down to $9 from the last one. You already used up one of those.
Good. All right. That's fine. Let's see. We got Charles Woodall Pike. CWP says best of 3 now, and the wagon is rolling again. That's such an important part, because when he says that, right, the confidence is there now, but most importantly, the offense is there, and they're getting out of that space of thinking that they can't score runs. Obviously, it's still a tough test, because they're going to have to face Zach Wheeler. Potentially, they're going to have to face these guys again that held them, pretty much in check. So
it's true.
But I mean, it just feels like things are heading in the right direction.
One game at a time, right? But Charles points out, like, you say that, and it becomes really hard when you're behind the 8 ball. They're not behind the 8 ball at all. They're shoulder and shoulder with the 8 ball, which I'm not sure if you knew. 8 balls have shoulders. They do, and they're right next to the Arizona Diamondbacks, because this is a 2-2 series. It's now best of 3. Yes, only one more is at home, but 16-8 now. The Diamondbacks are at Chase Field, .667 winning percentage. That's tied for the second best home field advantage of any team in any stadium.
Behind?
Someplace on the East Coast.
Okay, that's fine. We don't have to talk about that. What else we got for super chats? Caleb Lindsay, thank you for your super chat. He said, stuck in a hotel deep in Dodger Terry. That's gross.
Sorry, Caleb.
We're here for you, though. The front desk called my room in the 8 to make sure I was okay. Ski yee, let's go.
We're hearing reports of a ski yee from the 3rd floor.
Sir, was that you skiing at the top of your lungs? Yes, it was, and everything's fine. Tony, thank you for your super chat. Tony says, looks like the only swimming that the Phillies will be doing will be in those filthy public pools back in Philadelphia. Let's go, D-backs. Yeah, you guys go swim in your pool, your stadium. Oh,
Delaware
that's
River.
right. You don't have one. Ryan says, wait until Walker and Corbin wake up. Yes, that's such a good point. There's so many pieces of this offense right now that aren't on a roll. They're not hot. And should those guys get hot,
I hope,
God help
out.
you. God save you.
I hope Carroll's okay. He did get hit by a pitch there in that 8th. It looked like it was just above the knee, above his right knee.
Yeah, don't do that ever
hopefully
again.
It caught a little bit of meat, or a lot of meat there. Jesse might have an update on that. If not, we'll get one in tomorrow on that about Corbin Carroll and the hit by pitch.
Yo, Vince sent a $49.99 or $49.99 super chat. Said the swear jar is on me tonight. Let's fucking go, Vince. Saul, this is all on
What
Vince.
a fucking legend.
What a fucking legend.
Hey, Vince, you know what? That's good shit.
Hey, you got
I did the thing.
You're not gonna get that out. You got the thing.
I did the thing.
All
It's all on Vince. Thanks, Vince.
It's all Vince's fault. What else we got? Flex, our guy Flex, number one D-backs fan, says the Flex effect is real. For those of you that don't know, Flex from Jersey started giving us $5 and said he would add $5 to it for every win the Diamondbacks had during the postseason. We're up to $35. He said the Flex effect is real. Scared money don't make money. This team is ridiculous. Let's fucking go, boys. Love y'all. Please keep taking my money. We want to keep taking your money, Flex, all the way to the World Series. We love you. Kurt Stomp. Thank you so much for your super chat. Kurt Stomp says Philly cheesesteaks greater than the best Mexican food,
no,
or less
than
the best Mexican food. You're someone had a sign that said cheesesteaks suck, and I don't I appreciate the spirit, but I
when compared to Mexican food,
when compared to a Filiberto's carne asada burrito, yes, it does suck, and I'm sorry, but
dude,
that's
I'm with Adalberto's even.
Yeah.
I mean,
any Berto in a storm. Chase says my field has room for all wagon fans. Let's fucking go. Let's go. That's right. We're all fans, and there's plenty of room on the wagon. Christopher, thank you for your super chat, says D-backs should be arrested for theft with the trades for Moreno, Gurriel, and Sewald. Ain't over yet for the wagon, but you're not wrong about that. Again, look at what you're saying. That amazing catch by Lourdes Gurriel tonight. Gabriel Moreno involved not only in 1 RBI, right, but 2, and the most important one that he got, which was the game-winning hit. You can't say enough about that trade that happened at the beginning of the season for Dalton Varsho. And now, again, you can't say enough about bringing Paul Sewald in and having that guy that's just so capable of locking things down in the 9th inning and bringing home big wins like this one. So the trades for the great Mike Hazen have worked out so far. Albert, thank you, Albert, for your super chat. Says get water or water and some Kevlar body armor because Jesse's going back to Philly. Yeah, we got to make sure he's
careful out there, Philadelphia Friedman.
Somebody take him out for cheesesteaks. He's got a lot of fans up there, so I think he's going to be fine.
This from Sarah Langs real quick. D-backs first team to win consecutive postseason games when trailing in the 7th inning or later in each since the 2015 Kansas City Royals in the World Series Game 4 and 5. They did win the World Series that year.
Yeah.
It's the 15th time a team has had such a streak in the postseason, and no team has done so in 3 straight. I mean, we don't want the same heart attack. I think a lot of Diamondbacks fans don't want that. You and I just don't want it in general because it's, these games have a lot on the line.
It's hard on my heart.
But it wouldn't surprise me if the Diamondbacks did it again on Saturday night. A win's a win. That's the only thing that really matters.
A win is absolutely a win. We will take any wins right now, and especially wins that keep those filthy Philadelphia Phillies out of our pool.
When are we going to get that pool graphic?
Huh?
Where are we going to keep the graphic of the ool?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Notice there is no P in this ool. Let's keep it that way.
Tyrannical Goat, thank you for your super chase. Says, I'm sure Thomas will get King Snake, but damn, the single by Gabby and the framing to get Marsh out in the 9th. Remember when Carson Kelly was our catcher?
That framing was huge. Brandon Marsh was not happy. He's like, you're doing it on the inside. You're doing it on the outside. Don't forget, Gabby also had a caught stealing. I think that was on Schwarber there at one point where he was getting a little aggressive there. Caught him. You don't dash on Moreno. You don't do that.
This is funny because I remember this interaction. They showed it during the broadcast. Carlos with his super chat. Thank you, Carlos. He said, I choose to think that Torey just quoted Mr. Burns telling Darryl Strawberry hit a home run when he was talking to Alec because he did it. He called him back. And whatever he told him seemed to work. Caleb Lindsay with another super chat. Thank you, Caleb. He says, take this money and please extend a goddamn ski to everyone. A fine ski to you, sir. A fine ski to you, Patrick.
Ski to you.
Ski to you, Damon. And a ski for everyone. And then Mr. Grimm threw us $10 more for another Max appearance. I think Max left.
I believe, unfortunately, Max is gone.
Unfortunately, Max left. But who knows? There might still be some bodies walking over from
legally
Chase Field.
speaking, he'll need to swing by tomorrow then.
Yeah, but he was wearing a sexy-ass shirt, that's for sure. And it's the shirt of a connected team, and it's the shirt of a fucking dangerous team. Go get this shirt right now because we are a connected team, and we are a dangerous team. And you can get this shirt over at the PHNXLocker.com. If you are a diehard member, you get 20% off. If you're not a diehard member but want to sign up, you'll get it for free. free. Of course, we thank you guys for being here right now in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so now. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss when any of our shows go live. Leave us a little thumbs up. It's our attaboys. We appreciate attaboys. We're not going to turn around and use that aggressively as motivation against you in any way. And also, listening on the audio side, we're not going to forget our listeners because we love you too. Make sure you subscribe over there, sign up on whatever podcast app you use, and make sure to leave us a review. We always love that feedback. But it is a great night because not only do the Arizona Diamondbacks take Game 4 and tie this NLCS up, but we also have a brand new partner. We are so excited. We were out there today. I talked about it. I gave a little preview earlier because I said I was at the casino with my paycheck, and it probably wasn't the best place for me to be because, man, once I was in Gila River Resorts and Casino, I didn't want to leave. It is Arizona's biggest and best resort casino, and we are very excited to be partnering with them. What do they have now? They have the $1 million Big Red Showdown at Gila Rivers Resorts and Casino at Wild Horse Pass, Lone Butte, Vikiva, and Santan Mountain. You can sign up for Gila River Resorts and Casino's $1 million Big Red Showdown, $1 million Big Red Showdown. Stay in the game and get rewards. It's that easy. If you're going to go, you got to do that. Get the card, get all of that, get all those benefits. They'll give you all sorts of free money to play with. They'll give you comp rooms. You gotta get in on all of that stuff. Plus, they have free games online for a chance to win $1 million. They have weekly pick'ems, monthly drawings, and so much more. You can win up to $100,000 in cash with all of their games. Make sure to check that out. They have games for November 5th and December 3rd for Cardinals game tickets, memorabilia, and free bonus play prop cards for select football games. So visit GilaMillionDollarShowdown.com to get in on the action. For more information on Gila River Resorts and Casinos and all they have to offer, head to playatgila.com. All right. Well, we also have our friends from BetMGM, and as I've talked about, baseball's fun, but it's so much more fun to bet on it. Of course, my bets kept Nick Castellanos from hitting a home run tonight, and I am once again very happy to sacrifice for the team. And obviously, I'll keep throwing monies in this goddamn swear jar, and I'll keep throwing money at whatever I need to do to help the Diamondbacks win. But maybe you should use your money for a much better way, which is that's probably to make money. You could go on there, bet on your favorite sports team. Obviously, bet on this Diamondbacks team because they are a wagon. And, of course, make your NFL Sundays better with the BetMGM app. If you are not a member, you can sign up and use our code of PHNX. If you do so and deposit at least $10 into your newly created account, you can place a wager in the amount of at least $10 at a standard odds price. And should you do that, you will get $200 in bonus bets instantly, regardless of your wager's outcome. And again, I've told you guys this before, but there is no better way to bet than with other people's money, right? With free bets, bonus bets, all of that stuff.
Best things in life are free.
That's right. That's never not true. But of course, sign up for the BetMGM app. Use bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM sportsbook wager through the sportsbook mobile application of at least $10. You will receive $200 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
Ontario.
All right. Well, we got a super chat there from BCOM C. Clearly, he says, if you see me and you hit a home run, Alec, there go Gabby with the go-ahead run at Seawald. Well, simple ski. That wasn't that. Actually, that's probably as good as Sexy Red did. But I mean, that's pretty good. I like that. That verse.
I like that. It's a good verse.
Of course, we do have an updated playoff bracket, and we can't wait to show you that because look at this. Astros, they had a big comeback win tonight off a big Jose Altuve home run late. They take the lead in that series, and they're up 3-2. And now, like we said, the Diamondbacks have tied this one up with the Phillies.
We said that the Astros are providing the blueprint. Now, of course, you don't want that blueprint because that meant going down 0-2. But the Astros have been able to do it since they went to Arlington, and the Diamondbacks have been able to do it since they're coming back home to Phoenix. And so, all right, every time the Astros win, the Diamondbacks win. And so, all right, I guess you can just chalk up another win for the Diamondbacks tomorrow in Game 5, perhaps?
That's how this goes.
I think it's
absolutely.
It's the law of the land.
That's how the formula goes. You're not
Yes.
wrong. But we have some more from the clubhouse, of course. We got Jesse there sending us some videos. First, we have Gabriel Moreno on basically executing and coming up so big in this game.
Just like I have been doing a lot this year, so that's in that moment. That's what I thought. So just relax and execute the pitch. So that's what I'm doing.
I think the question was asked, why are you such a dog? Because that man he's a dog. He's a 23-year-old dog. He's amazing.
The question was asked, would I die for Gabby? And the answer is absolutely, without hesitation. He actually has more on flipping the series and taking this one potentially, in fact, taking this one back to Philadelphia and sending Jesse back to Philly.
That's what I am right here, and when all fans, we're gonna get the support for turn the series. So now we are tied and we got one more game tomorrow. So we're gonna do a key what we know to do. So that's what
he hit third tonight, and that is a new world record because no catcher had ever batted third in the postseason more than once. Walker Cooper, really good catcher, a long time ago, not a Hall of Famer. Thurman Munson, borderline Hall of Famer, all-time Yankee great, did it once. Joe Mauer, who someday will probably be Hall of Famer, they did it one time in the postseason. As a catcher, starting catcher, hit third. Gabby Moreno has now done it twice, and in both those games, the Arizona Diamondbacks have won.
He's such a huge part of their offense, and he's a part of this team, right? I mean, he had some major plays on defense as well.
Yeah.
And you know what the Diamondbacks winning percentage is like with and without Gabby. He's just been crucial to this team. But it's odd because another guy that has been very good this postseason, and you could say has been crucial at times, has been Pavin Smith.
Oh.
And let's be honest.
Wow.
First of all, we've all gotten our jokes in about Pavin, and he read your tweets, every single one of them. And honestly, he's one of those guys that we saw go down to AAA and have an amazing amount of success. The Diamondbacks brought him up a couple of times. Of course, none of the guys that they brought up, Jake, Kyle Lewis or Pavin, really had any kind of sustained success at a major league level. They liked Pavin because of his versatility, what he could do as far as a backup goes. But apparently, like their ability to bring him here in games and trust him to stay in the game, not just as a pinch hitter, but stay in defensively, has just been kind of inspiring, right? Like, I mean,
yes,
they've always trusted Pavin, but the results just weren't there. They've always believed in Pavin, but I mean, not everybody did, and he has been written off by a lot of people, a lot of fans, and I'm sure even people within the organization. But here's Pavin on what he's kind of gone through with that.
Watching like the first three, pretty much, just what the pitchers are doing, how they're pitching the hitters, and then I pretty much go into the cage around the fourth and the fifth and do a full flip routine with one of the hitting coaches, hit off the machine, look at some of the relievers that are about to come in that I might face, and then kind of just visualize from there.
Which coach? Literally. Let's go to the one about Pavin being written off.
Yeah, I know a lot of people wrote us off, but I mean, 10-0 win counts the same for one game. So we had a talk. We tracked 7-game series all year, and there was multiple times that we went down 2-0 and won the series. Went down 3-0 two times and won the series. So we were never out of it. We just tracked that all year. So it was kind of just like, no big deal. We're coming home to Chase Field.
Man, he looks confident, and as he should, especially because I think we're going to hear a lot more from Pavin Smith, especially when you consider, not literally here on the show, but I think when you consider how much Tommy Pham has struggled just a little bit, and you see what he's been able to do defensively out there, and you go, man, just don't really hit it to right field, kind of similar to how a lot of Phillies fans have probably felt about Nick Castellanos in right field. Since they started positioning him a little bit more in right center. And now he can come and make every play in front of him and to the left, which we actually ended up seeing earlier on in this game 4. So Pavin Smith, I don't know if he gets a start tomorrow against Zach Wheeler because you got a left-handed bat, and then now you got Tommy Pham, a right-handed bat, to come off the bench in a big spot if Torey sees it, fitting and suitable and likes that matchup.
I think a big part of this is anybody that can get the offense going against Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola is going to be out there. Again, the ability to kind of have Pavin come off the bench and be able to provide what he's provided so far has been big. And I mean, I think what they're doing so far has been fine. I don't really see a need to start him, but Torey has been like, you know, he's been very free with his lineup. You know what I mean? Like, like again, with Alek Thomas has played a major role, I feel like, in all of these games, even though he hasn't started in them. And, you know, it's almost like they want to go to Alek. They just don't want to start Alek against lefty, you know, against the lefty, because he's struggled against left-handed pitching all season long. But, you know, what Pavin Smith talked about there about the team being written off specifically, you know, it felt like that, right? I mean, even to a degree, we did it on this exact show after the first, you know, 2 losses in this series.
Yeah.
And honestly, we did it when they came into the postseason. And I mean, we are people that have watched this team all season long. We know what they're capable of, but it's hard because this team has literally been just such a grab bag at times at who is going to step up and who is going to give you, you know, quality, whether it's pitching, whether it's offense. You know, it's been, I guess, a bonus because they haven't really relied on one guy. They have received production from so many different members of their offense that, you know, it doesn't have to be one guy doing it the way it does for certain other teams, you know?
And we thought the recipe was going to be Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, and then hopefully you can win 2 other games. And it's been the exact opposite of the script, because it's been more about, hey, we need everybody to chip in this game. We don't have a starting pitcher. We have a guy whose name is going to be on MLB.com because he's starting the first inning, but that's all they're going to do. We need everyone to do something and to contribute, even when they're down, like they were in this game, even when it was a 0-0 score through much of the game on Thursday afternoon. It seemed like, well, you know what? Ty is going to go to the team that went to the World Series last year. So I think a lot of fans probably were even down on the Diamondbacks the last 2 days until they went and did the thing. They really have to go out and prove it and show it each and every night. And that's what a team has to do if they're going to get to the World Series, let alone win a World Series, is just playing every single day and going out there and doing their best. And so right now, it definitely seems as if the Diamondbacks have that momentum with Zach Gallen going tomorrow, and we'll talk about that during our pregame tomorrow afternoon. You got to like his odds at home, where he pitches so much better at home, and he's almost going to need to, in a sense, right? Because you're not sure how many of these relievers are going to be able to come back for that 3rd day in a row.
That's a great point, and I'm sure they're going to be limited when it comes to that. So hopefully they get the Zach Gallen that they've gotten at home for the majority of the season, who has been damn near unhittable. But you know who who's not surprised that the Diamondbacks are here, and who's not surprised that they're still winning games? Evan Longoria. Here he is on the Diamondbacks, proving people wrong.
I don't think anybody's surprised in here. You know, there's the good thing about you know, teams that are counted out is it makes you stronger in here. It kind of gives you something to rally around, you know, gives you, you know, just something to kind of like aggravate you and upset you and, you know, motivate you. And so every time, you know, we've heard that, instead of kind of crumbling under that weight of, you know, or the pressure of, you know, you guys aren't supposed to be here, you know, you shouldn't be doing this, like we've kind of risen above that, you know.
Oh man, yeah, that guy's really having the best time of his life right now, I imagine.
He should be.
Honestly, again, the fact that he brings what he brings to this team, that is so young and so inexperienced, you can't say enough about what he has done. Now we also have Longo on basically the D-backs playing D-backs baseball, I believe, and the traffic on bases.
Our identity all year has been being able to wear pitchers down, being able to, you know, get on base and create runs without necessarily, you know, slugging the ball all over the yard. And so, you know, we've gotten back to that. You know, the last couple days, just, you know, probably from, you know, the 5th inning on, working really good at bats, both games, you know, having having that pressure on the pitcher, you know, having them feel that at our home ballpark, putting runners out there and just, you know, making them make pitches in tough spots, you know, and that doesn't always equate to, you know, home runs or you know, scoring a ton of runs, but it's much more difficult when, you know, you're pitching with guys on base and the crowd is screaming versus, you know, the crowd is calm and it's, you know, nobody on.
I've heard that from pitchers time and time again, that they would rather just like at times give up a home run and clear the bases and then start kind of fresh rather than having, you know, the opposing team just single you to death and get those guys on base. Diamondbacks didn't get a chance to get it working like that, but they did get, you know, they did it in multiple different fashions tonight, including the long ball and kind of what Evan Longoria was describing there. But man, just again, I think that the key here from the clubhouse so far is don't write us off. You know, I mean, when people ask if the Diamondbacks had a chance, yes, they have a chance because there was more games to be played. Did things feel pretty low after losing 10-0? Yeah. It's hard not to think of things being very positive, except for the fact that there's no aggregate scoring and not a single one of those runs carried over to the next game.
The question was whether they even deserve to be here.
That was the question. And that got me pissed off.
And it's 2-2.
Yeah.
It's a bit much.
Welcome to the show.
Right. I mean, it's crazy to ask if teams deserve to be here because in some cases I get it. Like a team might have an easier path or whatever, but did the Diamondbacks really have an easy path? They went up against one of the best, you know, starting rotations in baseball. I guess the piece of luck they got there would have been, you know, the fact that Brandon Woodruff didn't start in game 2 for the Brewers, but they still got Freddie Peralta and he's still damn good. And the Diamondbacks were able to do what they did. They beat the Dodgers. They swept them. They put up 11 runs in first game and knocked Clayton Kershaw out after just pitching a third of an inning. Don't ask the question if the Diamondbacks belong here because they absolutely do. You know, I get it. This team doesn't have the Kyle Schwarbers or, you know, the Bryce Harpers. They don't have the Nick Castellanos that's hitting the home run every other game in the playoffs or sometimes multiple in one game like these guys are able to do, right? But what they do have is a team that's been able to do it as a whole. And like you talked about, they've been able to pass that baton off. They've been able to let, you know, kind of relax a bit and not try to be, not have everybody in the starting lineup trying to be the guy. And it feels like things are moving in their way, right? Like home field advantage is one thing, you know, but, you know, we talked about it. Playing at Citizens Bank Park is very difficult, and the Diamondbacks are going to have to win a game there in order to win the series. That's just a fact of the way this 7-game series works out. But right now, it really does feel like what is important for the Diamondbacks is that after that small layoff that they got after winning the NLDS, they were finally able to get things back in gear that they really weren't able to get, you know, do in the first 3 games of the series.
We talked about a little bit this idea that, you know, in March Madness, there's a lot of, you know, Big 5 schools that they lose a game maybe in their conference tournament. And that's a game you want to lose because you're still, you know, you're going to be, as part of March Madness, you're going to be the final 68. And you have that shot. You got that loss out of the way early. You know what that feels like. You know you never want to lose again. And that was kind of how the Diamondbacks ended their season. Then they go into the postseason. They back in just a little bit, and they take a punch. They stagger backwards a little bit in both those games against Milwaukee. They rebound. They then, in the sort of early middle rounds of this fight in the postseason, they handle the Dodgers pretty well, even though the crowd is very clearly on the Dodgers side. And you kind of thought that was going to be the case in game 3 back here at Chase Field. And now they've been hit on the chin and they've gone down. They went down here in these first 2 games on the road at Citizens Bank Park, but they've gotten back up and they've fought again and again. And it's going to be 12 rounds if they win it all. It's going to be 12 rounds for the heavyweight title, and that's how they're going to win this thing. It's going to go all the way to the end. They're going to get knocked down again at some point, but they've gotten back up from losing these first 2 games, and now the home team has won every game in this series. Conversely, in the American League, the road team has won every game that series.
That's a wild thing.
Incredibly wild.
And Carlos up in the chat, he gets it 100%. He said the D-backs may not have household name sluggers, but you know how they win? Through the power of friendship.
They're like the Care Bears.
Prove them wrong. Yeah.
They're also doing it with home runs from the young dudes, right? Alek Thomas, another one of those 23-year-old players who homer. That gives the 2023 Diamondbacks this postseason 10 home runs from players age 23 or younger. That is now ahead of the 2017 Astros, who had 9 guys, and it only trails the 2015 Cubs, who had 11. And as we know, both of those franchises with that young core ended up winning a World Series very soon after.
Do we have Gabby still able to drop a like for us? Is that still something we got? Because we need, we need Gabby to drop a like for us, because Gabby has been just so incredible for this team. But I mean, again, there's still a lot of questions. There's still a lot of work to be done. Just like after they lost 2, it wasn't over, and there was a lot of work to be done. What the Diamondbacks needed to figure out was how can they keep this team from scoring, which they were able to do in Game 3. But Game 4 was different. Game 4 tonight, they weren't able to keep that red hot Phillies offense from scoring runs, and we said you're going to need more than 2 runs to do it. And at one point, it felt like that was all they could score. Right, they were down 5-2. The way that this team continues to fight back, continues to claw their way back into things, it's impressive. It's been a lot of fun to watch. And
you did hit that over. We do know that, because there were a lot of runs in this game. They definitely came a little bit here and there. The 3-run 8th inning by the Diamondbacks, when it just seemed like, do they have anything left in the tank? You got a borderline future Hall of Famer in there in Craig Kimbrel, and they were able to get to him. And that's very advantageous. Now, again, the bullpen is taxed. We'll worry about that tomorrow. But now Rob Thompson has a question of, like, who are you getting the final 3 outs with tomorrow in Game 5? And are those 3 outs, or those key 3 outs, going to be in the 8th inning again, when you say, hey, we might not even get to the bottom of the 9th, because if the home team is leading, they don't need to hit again. So we need to get those outs now in the 8th.
Is Craig Kimbrel washed? I mean, Craig Kimbrel doesn't look like the guy that he used to be. And that's all that, especially against this Diamondbacks team. But I've also seen a lot of things out there in regards to his stats as of late. And I mean, when I saw him come into this game, I actually got a little excited, like he's the guy that teams have been able to do it against. And I mean, it's like night and day, honestly, when it comes to these 2 teams as far as that closer position, because Paul Sewald, he isn't exciting. He doesn't go out there and do some weird, pitching stance. He doesn't, I mean, at one point, Craig Kimbrel was the most electric closer in baseball, right? So, like, the 2, I mean, just, it seems like they're just 2 completely different people. But, Paul Sewald is the one right now that is the absolute, just it seals the deal.
It's vanilla versus Moose Tracks, Rocky Road.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, even Kimbrel in the All-Star game, I know it's an exhibition game, but he made that interesting. Ended up getting the save for the National League. But even then, he's like walking the ballpark. And the Phillies have some decent options, right? We saw Jose Alvarado get the final out there in the 8th. So they'll be able to mix and match. Matt Strom, who's a starting pitcher for them, ended up closing out Game 4 of the NLDS against Atlanta. So, we did see him here in Game 4 of the NLDS. So he might be the guy. So they have options. They have a lot of, left-handed guys, but they don't have the same perfect setup that the Diamondbacks do with Sewald, Ginkel, and Thompson.
Yeah, it's wild. And it's still just amazing, considering that we watched this season, and this bullpen just came out of nowhere. It was like a gift from the heavens to this team to rectify all that we went through at times in the first half. And the team played well in the first half. That's what's wild, is if this bullpen was as capable in the early going as it was here in the playoffs and late in the season, this Diamondbacks team would have probably won over 90 games easily. I mean, there are so many games that you could hang on the fact that Torey Lovullo at one point was going to a bullpen or a closer by committee, and not a single guy could really step up. But I will say those days are over now, and this has been fun to watch. And we have more from Paul Sewald, of course, in the clubhouse, because honestly, we can't get enough of this guy.
Man, I was going in the game regardless. So I think it worked out well that I wasn't really stressed for a save or a tie game, or I just kind of thought from the get-go, it's going to be tough. I'm going to have to pitch from down, but give it everything I have to try and come back. And it's so hard in those moments to be like a fan. Like I want to be a fan, but I had to go in the game. A couple bullpen guys, I hope they got it on video, that forgot I was warming up in that situation and maybe needed to relax in front of where I was trying to throw pitches as hard as I could. But I don't think I've ever heard a stadium that loud. That was electric. That was electric. What a crowd we had again today.
Derek, here's who the Diamondbacks used as their closer before getting Sewald on July 31st. They got 13 saves from him, which is a lot for the final 2 months of the season. Before that, the leader as Damon, and we are Damon's dogs. Woof, woof. Roof. So, Sewald at 13, Scott McGough 9, Andrew Chafin 8, Miguel Castro 7, Ginkel 4, Dre Jameson, Ryan Thompson, and Justin Martinez. Did you have that on your bingo board, folks?
Did not.
Justin Martinez had one save. I saw that look on Damon's face.
He was pitching big games for us this year.
He was.
Throwing
like
8 straight balls.
Yep.
12.60 ERA for Justin Martinez. But then Paul Sewald, the savior, comes along. And now it's a 2-2 series
the dad.
in the NLDS.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've talked about Paul Sewald being like the dad that gets you lost on vacation, but you as a kid never knew it because he was just so calm the whole time. So even though the road trip had gone completely off the rails.
And when he says, roll the windows up and lock the doors, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. We're going to use the air conditioning
Remember
finally.
that time we stopped in Calabasas and we had the food at that diner and went to the dinosaurs thing? That was awesome.
That was
like,
great.
Yeah, that was because we ran out of gas on the way to California. That's what that trip was. But, Paul Sewald, of course, an excellent calming presence for the bullpen and for this team. I mean, man, this guy, you can't say enough about how extraordinary he has been for this team since his acquisition at the trade deadline. But, of course, I'm drinking a Four Peaks Brewing Company beer tonight, as you all should be, except Cogs. Cogs isn't old enough to drink, so Cogs, no beer for you. But for the rest of you, you should be enjoying the craft beer, the official craft beer of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Of course, they got a wonderful variety of beers. I am drinking a hazy IPA because my normal celebration beer was warm, and I needed to get some in the refrigerator. Of course, Damon is drinking the official beer of baseball.
Golden
It's
Lager.
just the Golden Lager. Yeah. Just the official beer of baseball.
The official beer of baseball.
The official beer of going to baseball games. But no matter what official beer you want to drink from Four Peaks, make sure to check out all the wonderful variety they have to offer. Also, check out their 8th Street Pub. Get the chicken tendies. You'll thank me later. They also have their pumpkin porter, which is back. You can get that right now. It's back on shelves and in draft lines around the valley. You can also, of course, get it at that 8th Street Pub. They got wonderful events going on, too, so don't miss out on all of that stuff. Visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all of your favorite brewery tours and events. Steinholding, Oktoberfest, and Haunted Brewery tours are right around the corner. Of course, Steinholding, much more difficult than I ever thought it was going to be. Check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. Also, of course, if you are heading home from the stadium right now, maybe listening to us in the car, or maybe you got some more plans this weekend, make sure to stop by Circle K. It's America's thirst stop. Totri wanted me to tell you it's Anthony Totri's thirst stop. I don't even know what that means, but I'm sure it's something inappropriate.
It's his thirst spot.
Yeah, it's his thirst spot. Yeah, it's something like it's a thirst trap. I don't know, but something like that.
And Phillies fans know Circle K, studies show, number one in the U.S.
Just picking fights with Phillies fans.
And number 3, Wawa.
So oh my God,
they got about that last time?
They're furious about that.
I didn't do the study.
Between you and Mac tweeting from our account and getting in fights with Phillies fans, I don't want it. I don't want any of this. I don't want the smoke with these Phillies fans.
We get a fury of comments all being like, seriously, as a Phillies fan, like really like the show, but Wawa was a step too far.
The Wawa slander, not absolutely evident. Guess what?
I shouldn't tell people what I read.
Number one in America. Facts are facts. He's a stat guy. He's a stat guy.
The chicken cheesesteak is better than the traditional cheesesteak. I'm just telling you the studies that I've read.
Please stop this. You're gonna go back to Denver, and you're not gonna have to deal with weeks of Philadelphia fans DMing you death threats over your takes on all of this stuff. But of course, to stop by Circle K. We got a brand new membership program over there. You can join the Inner Circle and you get all sorts of free stuff. You'll get free coupons through the app. You will get buy 5, get the 6th one free on a selection of Circle K products. But most importantly, right now, with how expensive gas is, you will save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. So join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And I know the one and only incomparable Jesse Friedman is here to join the show. But before we do that, apparently we have Paul Sewald talking about jumping around.
That was the most jumping around I think I've ever seen. That was pretty good. It's so hard to try and breathe and like just pitch the way I know I need to pitch when there's that many people and that excited for me. They're cheering for you. When it's on the road, you're like, all right, like they're against me, so then you kind of go into defense mode. But when they're cheering with you, you kind of want to get amped up. But it's it was pretty loud. It was pretty fun. That's why I like coming out to that song, and I like when people jump around. It was very cool.
Let's go. We jump. Paul needs to know we jump around in this office every single time he comes out. So please pass that along to him. And of course, the perfect person to tell him that is the one and only Jesse Friedman, who is joining us right now from Chase Field. Jesse, what a win. What a game. What are the vibes like at Chase Field right now, my friend?
I said immaculate yesterday. I guess even more immaculate, doubly immaculate today.
That's
this
good.
This was just an incredible win all the way around for the Diamondbacks. As a beat writer, it utterly decimated my post-game story because I had everything laid out and I knew all the questions I was going to ask and everything. And then, it happened so quickly too, right?
Yeah.
It was the bottom
it really
of the
did.
eighth inning. Alek Thomas hits that homer. Just a couple of batters later, Gabby Moreno gives the Diamondbacks the lead. That inning ends. And then suddenly Paul Sewald, who he said after the game was coming in regardless. The Diamondbacks were going to use Paul Sewald even if this was a 5-3 game. But suddenly, him coming in, pitching, down a couple of runs turns into a save opportunity. And as you just heard him talk about there, it was insane. I mean, when Paul Sewald's song came on, they've got the hype video and everything on the Jumbotron. People were like actively jumping up and down in the stands. They were not just cheering. They weren't just like standing there waving their flags. There was it actually looked like a concert or something was happening with how much movement there was in the crowd. So just an incredible win all the way around for the Diamondbacks, obviously. And run differential doesn't matter. That's been sort of the mantra of maybe this whole thing for the Diamondbacks this year. They got outscored 15-3 in Philadelphia, but a 1-run win is just as good as a 10-run win. And the Diamondbacks suddenly we're looking at a dead heat here at 2 games apiece.
That's what we were talking about. That obviously, it's a joke to say aggregate scoring isn't a thing in baseball, so these runs don't carry over from one game to another. But I mean, it was a pretty devastating loss after game 2 to lose 10-0 like they did, to have their offense completely disappear in those first 2 games. It wasn't very encouraging, for this team going forward. I think even you could even say that about last night's win because it was a amazing pitching performance by Brandon Pfaadt, but you don't know if you're going to get that again, even from Brandon Pfaadt, let alone from any of their other starting pitchers. So it really comes down to, how is this game going to go? How is this bullpen kind of Frankenstein start that Torey Lovullo put together? And I mean, it didn't go perfect. Obviously, they definitely had their moments, the questionable managing moments where you could wonder why he left like Andrew Saalfrank and a couple of other guys in. But overall, this staff, this bullpen staff came together to at least keep this game competitive. And the offense, surprisingly, did more than we could have expected them to do and brought home this win.
Yeah, I was, just kind of planning what I was going to write about after this game. When the D-backs were down 5-3, my initial thought was, all right, the bullpen kind of melted down here in the middle innings. The story is that the Diamondbacks just don't have, some of the elite quality stuff that the Phillies do in their bullpen. And that's sort of, it was a bullpen game for the D-backs, a bullpen game for the Phillies. Phillies bullpen is better than the Diamondbacks bullpen. That's the story. But what I realized the more I thought about it was, if the Diamondbacks had lost this game 5-3, in my mind, the biggest story was just that the offense didn't show up, right?
Yeah.
That Marte, it just continues to be sort of on an island by himself, and just no one else on this team is hitting consistently. Because, I mean, this bullpen game, no, it wasn't perfect for the Diamondbacks. But at the end of the day, I mean, Kyle Nelson had a pretty rough second half of the season. Like Andrew Saalfrank was a minor leaguer a little more than a month ago. Like, the Diamondbacks have been expecting a lot from a number of different guys in this situation. I don't think it's fair to, pin a game like this on them for not being able to come through. The Phillies are a really, really good lineup. And yeah, I mean, I think the story would have been, like I said before, that the offense just couldn't come through. And, it comes down to Alek Thomas as a pinch hitter. He hasn't been used the last couple times with a lefty on the mound. He's started the game on the bench, but he stayed ready throughout this one, and he obviously came through with a really, I mean, like, it's not normal to be able to pull a pitch that far outside. It was really remarkable the way that he was able to do that. And Joe Mather, we talked with Joe Mather afterwards, and he couldn't explain it either. It was honestly pretty funny seeing him try to like come to grips with how that happened. He really had no idea.
He smiled while he was hitting it. It was insane. Like, it's like he knew it was like a weird combination. Like, yes, you're right. He shouldn't have been able to hit it where he was. And the only answer for that is that it seemed like Alek guessed right on where the pitch was going to be and what pitch it was going to be. And as he, stretched out to hit it, like he knew he got the good part of the bat on. He knew this was going to fucking rip. And like, I mean, there was something incredible about that moment. I mean, Alek already has that 14 pitch at bat that ended in a home run. That is absolutely already something of legend, but it feels like he's continuing. Damon had this thing where he just kept calling every at bat for every guy like a legacy at bat. Like, this is the legacy. This is going to be adding to their legacy.
I'm sure Jesse can't picture it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, Jesse. There's no way Jesse can imagine
picture it.
Damon overreacting like that. But I mean, this one, it kind of felt like that. Like, I mean, this feels like an iconic postseason run for a guy who they don't trust enough to put in the lineup every single night based on pitching matchups, right? Which is understandable, because we know Thomas has absolutely struggled against left-handed pitching. So I don't question that move at all. But it's wild because this offense has been so quiet at times that Thomas is just somehow stepping up in these huge situations and becoming the guy for this team.
Yeah, it was funny the way he described the homer after the fact. He said that it felt like it was right down the middle, even though it really was not. I don't really know
not
exactly
at all, pal.
Paul Sewald also talked about, when I asked him about his vantage point of the home run, he said that some of the other guys in the bullpen were like jumping up and down and getting so excited that they weren't really mindful of the fact that he was still like actively warming up, and they were like running in front of him as he was trying to throw his warm-up tosses.
That's funny.
But yeah, it really is. I mean, this is kind of how the Diamondbacks have operated, for most of the season, right? It's not a team that's necessarily going to come out and beat you by 6 or 7 runs, but it's a team that finds a way to score more runs than you more often than you kind of expect them to, right? Yeah. And yesterday it was Cattell coming through in that big spot at the end against Craig Kimbrel. And then again today, right? I guess Craig Kimbrel is sort of, I'm sure he is not viewed too kindly by Phillies fans at this point after what's happened the last couple of days. I know Rob Thompson addressed that a little bit after the game and was sort of non-committal about Craig Kimbrel's role moving forward, and whether he maybe wouldn't pitch in situations like this. I guess we'll have to see how that pans out. But yeah, I mean, for the second consecutive day, the Diamondbacks just do just enough offensively as they've kind of done for the entire season.
It seems like Thompson did not push all the right buttons there. Torey, obviously the Alek Thomas button was great. That looks genius. Pretty easy to say that. The Saul Frank one, I think we all would maybe like to do that one over again. Might have left him in too long. Were there any other plays in the game that kind of stood out for you of like, hey, that ended up working out really nice, or maybe it certainly could have gone a lot worse, that Torey was able to kind of call upon and say, okay, that ended up being really good for the team as a whole, because look, it was the bull plan, right? It was just purely a bullpen game. That was the plan. And so a lot of things had to go right, and a lot really did for the Diamondbacks tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting hearing Torey talk about the Andrew Saalfrank decision. He did say that, while it was happening, that he sort of, he was sort of thinking back on like, should I actually have let Saalfrank continue in the game after he walked Schwarber to start off that inning? I think a lot of people look back on that as, yeah, obviously that didn't end particularly well. Ryan Thompson comes in, bases loaded, nobody out, really, really hard situation. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, this wasn't Torey's doing at all whatsoever. But the Phillies made a couple of really key mistakes early on in this game, and the Diamondbacks, the first 2 runs that the Diamondbacks scored, you could argue were because of the Phillies mistakes, right? I believe it was there was the unearned run, of course. The first run of the game was an unearned run for the Diamondbacks. Yeah, that was Alec Bohm, right, making that throwing error. But the very next inning, there was a wild pitch that actually wound up giving the Diamondbacks a run in a situation where they wouldn't have had one otherwise. Those 2 runs are the difference in this game, right? If the Diamondbacks don't get those 2 runs early, even though they weren't doing a whole lot offensively at the time, Manuel Rivera, did come through with that big single there in the 3rd, I believe it was. But that single only scored a run because there was a wild pitch early in the inning that I think it was Christian Walker who moved up into scoring position. So, the Phillies made more mistakes than the Diamondbacks did in this game. And the Diamondbacks made a mistake too, right? Emmanuel Rivera with that forced play at the plate, that sort of blew up on them and gave the Phillies an extra run as well. But yeah, I mean, the Diamondbacks sort of build their brand off of being more competent, better at the little things than the other team.
Yeah.
And they were a little bit better than the Phillies at those little things today.
Yeah, Sanchez seemed to forget how many outs they had in one of the innings, right? Like there was a lot of mistakes for them, and it's mistakes that we saw the Diamondbacks make at times in this series as well. When we talk about that pop-up in the infield that Longo let drop, Gurriel losing track of the outs, like the Diamondbacks have said time and time again, they need to play flawless baseball in order to have a chance in a series like this against a team like the Phillies. And so far in the wins, it's not flawless, right? But they're seemingly making less mistakes than the Phillies, and they're able to do just enough. At least in this one, they got the early lead, and then they lose it, and they battle back. That early lead was encouraging. It was nice to see them jump out ahead and get some offense rolling before the 7th inning. This team felt like really they were just putting up a little bit of a fight before the end of the game, maybe once the starting pitcher left, and it was rough to see. They still have a lot to deal with Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, being up, against them next. So it's not going to be easy, because if those guys pitch like they did in game 1 and game 2, it doesn't matter where these games take place. It's going to be a rough night for the Diamondbacks offense to try to generate some runs. But Jesse, I need you to explain to me Pavin Smith. Just explain to me Pavin Smith. Because, man, this guy, all of a sudden, I mean, we know he raked in Reno. We know a couple of other guys raked in Reno as well. And Pavin and those other guys, Jake McCarthy, Kyle Lewis, I brought this up earlier, none of them could really find success consistently at a major league level, or even enough to, keep one of those guys up clearly above the other 2 at times. But now Pavin Smith is here in the postseason. He's coming into pitch hit situations, big moments in the game, and he's been delivering for this team.
He really has. Yeah. I talked with him a little bit yesterday about, just his journey kind of through the minor leagues, and the fact that Pavin Smith hardly played in the majors in the second half of the season, right? I think he had a brief stint in the majors in early September. And outside of that, I mean, Pavin was a AAA baseball player, from the, I think it was like middle end of June through the end of the season. And he talked about, while he was there, when the Aces weren't playing and the Diamondbacks were kind of keeping up on things, and, holding the idea in the back of his head that he might be able to contribute. And I mean, frankly, I don't know if he would be here if Jake McCarthy was healthy, right? I mean, if Jake McCarthy is healthy, that roster spot probably goes to Jake McCarthy. So he was not necessarily super close, as from like a depth chart standpoint, to getting the opportunity that he's gotten, and he's come through. I know he didn't deliver in his final at bat. He had an opportunity to maybe really break the game open with the bases loaded and 2 outs there, and I think that was the 7th. Winds up grounding out there. But yeah, I mean, I tweeted it out. I believe this holds true to the end of this game. Pavin Smith has as many hits in this series as Corbin Carroll, Christian Walker, and Tommy Pham combined. All 3 of those guys have one.
No, say it isn't so.
Wow,
say it isn't so.
That's a stat.
Yeah, I don't know if that means Pavin's good or the rest of those guys are terrible. I think it's the latter. But Pavin was very good.
A little bit of both.
But Pavin was incredible for the Reno Aces. He slashed 318, 428, 506 with a 934 OPS for the Aces. And he, again, he was a very consistent hitter. I've talked about this on the podcast before, but he's been complimented quite a bit about his ability to know the strike zone and his approaches at the plate. It's almost a mystery at times why it doesn't carry over to have better results, right? And now what we're seeing is Pavin be able to put it together and be able to put it together in some of the biggest, at bats he's probably ever had in his career right now. So I think that's the most impressive thing, because we talk a lot about how baseball is a game of consistency, and layoffs can cause problems and time off can cause problems. But most importantly, if you're not playing in some way due to injury or a layoff or all-star break or whatever, it can take its toll on you, and you just need some time for you to get ramped back up to being the player that you were, or being able to play at a major league level, successfully. And for Pavin to be able to just not get that playing time, not have those games in the second half like you discussed, and to be able to step up, it's huge. It's been huge. But there's one thing that's bigger than that, and it is the trades by Mike Hazen coming through in this particular game, Jesse, because my God, Gabriel Moreno, Lourdes Gurriel had a huge catch. Gabriel Moreno had the big hit, the game-winning hit. He also scored another run. Paul Sewald coming in and closing this game. This team is here, and this team is winning games because of moves that Mike Hazen made to improve this team at the beginning of the season and throughout the season. Ryan Thompson, another guy that you can't say enough about his contributions to this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I misspoke earlier. It was Ketel Marte scoring in the third inning, Gabby Moreno driving him in there.
Yeah, right.
That got the Diamondbacks their second run of this game. And yeah, Moreno, comes up there in that enormous spot, and getting the game even was one thing, but do the Diamondbacks, it's sort of like a 50-50 game at that point, right? After Alek Thomas
really
hits that home run, for as much as the crowd was going crazy, Diamondbacks hadn't won the game at that point, right? They just given themselves a chance. Basically, right? It was sort of a coin flip, and for Gabby Moreno to come through and hit that single, and also Corbin Carroll being hit by a pitch. It was kind of an interesting sequence there for Rob Thompson, where he decided not to go to Jose Alvarado with the left-handed hitting Corbin Carroll at the plate. And then Craig Kimbrel throws one pitch to Corbin Carroll, hits him. Carroll takes first base. And then now,
Damon has a conspiracy theory we are not going to air on air, but I think you can figure it out when it comes to what that mound visit with Craig Kimbrel might have been about, what the directions handed down from the general to the soldier might have been. But those are just complete accusations that we are not going to at all throw out there as a real thing. But
Damon having a conspiracy theory along those lines was inevitable. Absolutely, I am not in the slightest surprised. But it was kind of a bizarre decision, right? You're going to stick with your righty against the left-handed hitting Carroll, and then the very next batter is Gabby Moreno, who has raked against lefties, and the Phillies have done pretty much everything they can in this series to try to keep Moreno from facing lefties if they're able to, and yet he put in Jose Alvarado, who is obviously a very good left-handed pitcher, but it was, didn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense on paper, and it didn't work, right? Gabby Moreno gets ahead in the count and is able to poke that RBI single to give the Diamondbacks the lead. So I was pretty confused by that from Rob Thompson. He said after the game he was trying to stay away from Jose Alvarado in this game, if at all possible. I guess they were trying to see if Kimbrel could get them out of the inning, so that maybe they wouldn't have to go to Alvarado. But they still had another inning after that, of course. So I'm not sure exactly what Rob Thompson's plan was there, but sort of a bizarre decision there on his part.
Phillies end up using everyone in their bullpen except Taijuan Walker, former Diamondbacks pitcher, who we kind of thought was actually going to start Game 4, and a guy who threw a no-hitter earlier this year.
Michael Lorenzen.
That's who was left in their bullpen, which is wild. I don't think anything was probably discussed post game because it was kind of a non-factor and so much happened after.
But the commentators did bring up that the Diamondbacks would have a rough time if this game were to go into extra innings, and I think it would have been fair to say both teams would have had a hard time if it went into extra innings. The only difference,
the Phillies were probably better prepared, right?
Taijuan
Walker was a 15-game winner, and Michael Lorenzen was kind of a big trade deadline acquisition for the Phillies. I know he threw the no-hitter and then didn't kind of fizzled out the rest of the year. But the D-backs in that situation, and I guess it would have been Slade Ciccone probably going for however long they needed.
Yeah.
This was another game where, very much like yesterday, the Diamondbacks needed to get out of here in 9 innings, and they found a way to do that.
It was an impressive win, Jesse, and now we have a 3-game series, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but the Diamondbacks have been very good in short series because they can send out the trio of Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, and Brandon Pfaadt, which I imagine who we will see the rest of the way. And I mean, now, especially with the way Brandon Pfaadt pitched, in game 3, that's got to excite you. That's got to get you pumped. And that's got to make you feel confident that, you say what you want about the series, the way it started, the way things have gone, but it has to make you feel like the Diamondbacks absolutely have a chance to win this series.
They absolutely do, right? I mean, like you said, it's a 3-game series. 2 of those games, if we need all 3, 2 of those games will be in Philadelphia, which obviously is an advantage for the Phillies. That's a ballpark that they have played extraordinarily well in over the years in the postseason. But you give yourself a shot here, and tomorrow is going to be really big because Zach Gallen is on the mound. We've talked at length on this show about how good he was in the regular season pitching at home. Maybe this is a more comfortable environment for him compared to the very hostile environment, of course, over at Citizens Bank Park that he dealt with in game 1. And for as good as Zach Wheeler has been in the postseason, and he has been historically good, you figure the Diamondbacks, maybe the second time around, maybe they're able to figure some things out and get some things going. So, Zach Gallen against Zach Wheeler here at Chase Field tomorrow is once again going to be a really important game. If you go back to Philly, down to 3-2, it's not impossible, but that's a really, really tough spot to be in. So all these games are important, obviously. And, tomorrow is just yet another one of those.
$125 to get in the door right now for game 5. Diamondbacks fans want to be
your tickets
there
early. Jesse, you are going to miss game 5 because we're going to need to send you, I think, tomorrow morning on a Greyhound bus back to Philadelphia in order for you to be there for game 6. My apologies. The budget is getting stretched very thin, sir. But we are very excited to have you at Chase Field. I know you actually will be there again tomorrow and in Philadelphia when they go back there. So we thank you for all of your hard work, and we look forward to talking to you, hopefully after another Diamondbacks win tomorrow night.
All right. Sounds good. See you guys.
Later, man.
Philadelphia Friedman.
He sang that 100 times during the show. It's just like a little jingle you're working out? Like maybe a theme song for Jesse to listen to on his way on the bus to Philadelphia.
I have an interesting question regarding the ticket prices.
Let's go.
Is tomorrow the most important game in Diamondbacks history post 2001?
I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
It's the deepest, obviously, that they've gone.
Yeah, you could say that literally about every single game, I think, at this point.
Every remaining game.
Yeah, I mean, the Diamondbacks are in a position right now that they are 2 wins away from going to the World Series for the first time since they won it in 2001.
But tomorrow feels like a particularly special. You got Gallen on the mound. It's at home. Like, if you don't win, you have to go win 2 games in Philly.
That's the biggest part.
Tomorrow's huge. And I think we're going to have numbers tomorrow. I think it's going to be loud from the start. I'm pumped.
We need people out there. So go get your tickets, get out there. Don't let this entire situation turn, again, like we're complaining. At one point, it was a bad thing that tickets were cheap. Right? Like, that's awesome. That's an awesome thing. We live in an awesome place where we don't get raked over the coals for ticket prices. What are we even doing here?
Yeah, weekday, early afternoon.
2:07 start?
That's kind of rough. But it was still populated largely by Diamondbacks fans.
Yeah.
That was the case tonight. Jesse did say, there might have been a few more Phillies fans. Now I don't know that that's gonna be the case if those are the prices.
It's Valentine's Day. Sometimes on Valentine's Day, you don't let Phillies fans take you on a date.
No, you choose him every single time.
That is right. I really hope the couple that dressed up with marsh beards and hair aren't there again. That's all I hope. But even if they are, we embrace all of you. We welcome all of you because this has been a good series, and this is going to continue to be a good series. So let's continue to watch these two exciting teams duke it out, and hopefully for our fans and for us, the Arizona Diamondbacks come out on top. But of course, there's a great way to root this team on, and that's with this shirt.
Oh,
we are fucking dangerous because a connected team is a dangerous team, and get the shirt of a connected team. Go get that shirt right now. Like I said earlier, if you are a diehard already, you will get 20% off the price of the shirt. If you're not a diehard, get your diehard membership now, and you will get this shirt for free, or our wagon shirt, or whatever shirt you want from the PHNX locker. Look at all those beautiful playoff season
and you'll
shirts.
look amazing in it.
You will
just
look
on your own. But you also will look amazing like Max looked like.
That's true.
Today when he came in, he had his
Max was very sexy when he came in. Yeah, mostly it's because he stayed out of the spot though. So whenever Max does not stand in the spot, he looks pretty sexy to me. But go get yourself that shirt. Get a diehard membership. You'll get benefits from our partners. You'll get discounts. You'll get access to our members only Discord lounge. You'll get 20% off all those future purchases at the PHNX locker, and so much more, including a $50 gift card from our friends at Mountain Mike's Pizza. You get a Dobson Ranch card. And all sorts of wonderful discounts with our stuff, events, special merchandise for diehards only, and so much more. So get that diehard membership today. Another big part of what we do around here is supporting our community, taking part in our community events, taking part in our diehards events. Not only do we have events that we want you guys to be a part of, but we want to be a part of your stuff. So we tomorrow on October 21st are going to be taking part in the Out of Darkness Walk. We're going to be joining thousands of teams across the country for an event that's co-chaired by one of our very own PHNX diehards. This event raises money for suicide prevention programs, unites those who have been affected by suicide, and helps create communities that are smart about mental health. We all need to take our mental health seriously. It's something that at times, I come from a generation where mental health wasn't prioritized, right? And this is something that's very important. So you need to make sure you take care of your loved ones, you take care of yourselves. And again, this is very personal to all of us here. We all have somebody here at PHNX that we love, that we've lost. All of you might have a connection to someone that you've loved and lost due to suicide. And this is something that we very much want to try to do everything we can to prevent. We're here for you guys, and so are all of these wonderful programs. So we want to make sure everybody's aware of that, and you can join us in person at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick tomorrow at 9 a.m., or you can show your support virtually. You can join our Team PHNX by hitting the link in our description and helping us hit our fundraising goal if you're able to. And also join us. We'd love to see you guys out there. We'll be out there around 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. So, of course, make sure if you can, join us. And if you can't, at least sign up to be a part of our team. You don't even have to make a donation. I believe you can just join the team just to show your support, and we would love that as well. So, again, make sure to check out the link in our description. Also, of course, if you're going to be out walking anywhere in Arizona at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't matter what time of year, you need to get yourself some Shady Rays. It is gear built to last. Of course, this man knows. It's an independent sunglass company that provides a premium product that is much cheaper than all of those expensive sunglasses out there, but not cheaper in quality. They're durable. They got premium polarized lenses, and they also offer the most insane protection plan in all of eyewear, where every single pair of their sunglasses is backed by their lost and broken replacement plan. Should you lose or break your pair of Shady Rays, even on day one, they will send you out a brand new pair, no questions asked, no shame, not dad jokes. This guy, he's not gonna let me have a lunch without at least squeezing one dad joke in there. Am I right?
I do. Yeah, no, it's true.
I didn't know if you had a dad joke to get in there. It felt like that was an appropriate time, but you're behaving yourself, and that's surprising.
I'm trying to. I couldn't think of something with squeeze in there.
Yeah, I felt like I was teeing you up with squeeze, but you know what? It's fine. I still appreciate you, just like I appreciate my Shady Rays, even when I lost them, right? Because Shady Rays sent me out a brand new pair. Of course, if you do not love your Shady Rays, you can exchange them for a new pair, or you can return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk at all when you shop. Their team always has your back. You can shop their location here in town at Kierland Commons. And of course, you can shop their full variety of sunglasses over at their website at shadyrays.com. exclusively for our listeners. You can go to that website over at Shady Rays and get their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 50% off 2 pairs or more of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Big shout out to Vince for his another super chat. Vince, we love you. Appreciate that. He says donation to upgrade Jesse to a flight. He deserves it.
I feel like I should call Jesse now.
I will
and
be
let
pocketing
him know.
that money and absolutely not upgrading him to a flight. No.
But Jesse can see these comments, though. He's going to see that.
That's fine. I'm sure he's busy packing or something. And here's the thing. It's only going to help him one way, and then he's still going to have to Greyhound back anyway.
That's kind of true.
Right?
Yeah.
So I might as well get myself a good sandwich downtown or something. Piece of Yoshi. He says D-backs are 2-0 in the Yoshi fire Derek era. I don't like that one pick. Get that comment off of there. I do not appreciate you. Sharon Spall with the super chat. Thank you, Sharon. She says donation towards Jesse's flight to Philly, so he doesn't have to ride the bus. There's another $10 I will be pocketing. I'm not giving Jesse any of this
now
money.
that's going to cover the cost. He can ride in Sturridge.
Shut up.
Maybe on the way back.
Yes. And Thomas just said, fuck yes for the jar. There's $5. So yes, there we go. I'll take that directly out of my personal. I got $5
Thanks,
for you right
Thomas.
there, Thomas. There you go. That goes in there. And Alucard, $10 from Alucard says Gallon redemption day coming tomorrow. Absolutely. Let's go. Let's get Gallon a big win in the playoffs. This man deserves it. And of course,
Did they just let us get 2?
They did let us get 2.
There's actually no way they let us get 2.
No, Damon. They let us get 2.
I'm sitting here and I
you know
can't
why that's
fathom
fucking
the fact that
crazy?
they let us get
I'm going
2.
to tell you why that's fucking crazy. Because if you let us get 2, now we're going to get 3.
Oh, God fucking forbid you let
God
us get 3.
forbid you if we get 3.
Oh, God.
God help you if we get 3.
Oh.
I don't even know what you're going to do if we get 3.
Don't let
because
us
then
get
we're
3.
going to get 4. That's how it works. Because this team is a goddamn wagon and we are on a motherfucking roll. All right, I needed to get that out.
That's great. Look,
I feel better.
If you love something,
but
set it free,
go.
and if it
There's
comes
the rest of my
back
money.
to you, it was meant to be, right?
Yeah, that's
you
the way it
give
works.
second chances
Don't
when
let
it
us get
comes.
3.
It gives you give second
Don't let us
chances.
get 3.
Do not.
Do not let us get 3. That's all I'm saying. That's a warning. That's a PSA, if you will. It's not a prediction. It's a spoiler, if you will. If you let us get 3, it's a goddamn mistake. My name is Derek Monty. You can follow me on Twitter. I am at @cap_caveman with a K. This absolute maniac next to me is at Patrick D. Lyons. His name is something similar to that. I think you can figure it out. The People's Producer is behind the Mac tonight. He is Damon. We are Damon's dogs. Arf,
Woof,
arf.
woof. We've switched.
What the hell happened to that?
We switched.
Thought we were doing the ARF thing, man.
It's like rock, paper, scissors. Let's just try it one more time.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can make the same sound effect. You ready?
We are Damon's dogs.
Woof, woof. Okay.
All right, there we go. All right, go follow Damon at Damon Dog.
It's gotten so like monotone.
I know. It used to be a little cute dog, and then like Sean made it all like, yeah, like it's gotten weird. It's all over the place. But you know why? Because dogs come in all shapes and sizes, just like Diamondbacks players do.
Yeah.
But a connected dog is a dangerous dog. Don't forget that. Follow all of us on Twitter. Of course, our show is at PHNX_D-backs, but all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you so much for your time tonight. We appreciate all of you guys for being here. And I'll tell you this much. I want you guys to remember one thing, and that's remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you fucking tie the Phillies in the motherfucking Yoffs!
We all silly like the mayor.